All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 5, Big Whoop. Hey, I told you there'd be some traveling. Here I am. It is Monday night, and I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and well, it's a little underwhelming, but I'm in a hotel room, and we got a cool production for you today. I had another interview. I guess I could show you the view, but it's a parking lot. It's a beautiful hotel and everything, and it's a beautiful area. I've actually never been to Texas, but it's very cool, and I really love it. And I'm down here for part of Judson University's outreach to other colleges and high schools in the area. So it's cool. It's a neat little trip, and I'm actually very honored. But again, I'm like, do I sit on the couch or do I, you know, move all this around just so you can see out a dark window? I chose to do the lesser amount of physical work. So here I am. Happy Tuesday to you all. I'm going to, again, whip this together, and we're going to have some fun here. We got a cool production for you today. I had my second interview. First one was with Creighton North. You saw that. Professional model, overall good guy. Second is with a friend of mine. She is a flight attendant. And I think in the last couple episodes, I've been saying stewardess. So we covered that. We took care of that. Flight attendant is the way to go, I guess. And we straightened that out. And, fine with me. Fine with me. So we got into everything about, basically what does the life up in the clouds look like? For people who fly, it's like, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours up in the air and then you're done. But it's interesting hearing from somebody who makes their living being up in the air. So covered some questions that you probably need answered, like why do you have to put up the tray table? And as somebody who literally just flew today, it was very interesting flying and having all this stuff in my mind. So it was a cool interview. Chiara is her name. And yes, flight attendant. And again, overall, nice person, good person. So it was a fun hangout. I will send you over to it. It was a longer interview, so I don't want to keep you too long. Thank you so much for everybody who listened. Again, follow, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube, on Rumble, on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. It should be nice. It should be nice. Nice little interview got put together. So greetings from Texas. And, I might do another one from here, but I'd love to find a little bit more, of a more Texas-y. If I could do a little more of a Texas-y location, then that would be cool. But if it's just, if it's just hotel room, I'm going to wait and do another one next week back at Judson. So again, thank you for Judson University. Not recorded at Judson, but, still obviously associated. So always a blast. Going to be a good time. Check it out. Are you deaf?
What?
That's higher than I have it.
I am kind of deaf a little bit, and I bonk. I think a big part of that is just my job because it's so loud.
What do you call a scuba diver that is breathing air? What sound does a scuba diver breathing air make?
That was going to be my answer.
Wasn't that funny? Oh,
good.
Oh, you've been wearing your sunglasses this whole time. Am I supposed to put mine on too?
I don't know. You told me I had to start with them on, so I put them on. And it's hard for me to take them off. Well, it's not. It's easy to take them off. It's hard to put them back on again because then I have to take like the headphones off, and I had to make sure my hair looks good. Yeah.
I am completely out of breath.
I can hear that. It's because you walked upstairs.
It's because I woke up too late, was going to have all of this ready, and I had none of it ready.
You mean Bradley was running late to something? It was just like college all over again. We used to tell you a different time than we were actually meeting so that you would be on time. There was one time we were going, I think it was to,
You remember how you came in?
yeah.
Same way out.
Can I go out this door too?
Yeah, same way
It's
out. You're
closer,
good.
so.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Same way out. No, go ahead. How I have perpetual issues and we'll never fix them.
I just
Fixed them.
never fixed them. There was one time I think we were going out to maybe like Connor's birthday dinner,
Yeah.
and you were gonna come.
Oh, was it the pizza place?
Maybe. We drove together. You came to my parents' house.
Okay,
and
go
then we
ahead.
drove together?
Not what I'm thinking about. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, I told you. I don't remember what I told you, but I told you like a time that was at least 45 minutes earlier than to what we were actually meeting.
You told me 2 p.m. and it was at 6 p.m. the
And
next day.
The next day. My Bradley's going to be on time.
I still
this-
was 38 minutes late. Oh, I remember.
Yeah, and you texted me. You were like, I'm on my way now. I'll be there in like 35 minutes.
I'm driving from Florida. I should be there in 4
Yeah,
days.
literally. Driving across the Atlantic right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
And
sort of thing.
it was perfect timing because when you showed up at my parents' house finally,
Okay.
we had like
Finally is a little unnecessary.
A 5-minute like window cushion.
Oh, I
And
kind
then
of remember this.
Yeah, and then we got in the car and we left and we got there on time, and it's only because I told you to come way earlier.
I hate you so much.
No, it was so good.
What is planes, right? Right? It's like
It's yeah.
that's wild.
Have you
Thanks everybody.
That's great.
That's incredible.
See ya.
That's incredible. So you are let me start with this. I have had 4 people tell me I'm saying this wrong. What's wrong with stewardess? Is that wrong?
It's
Somebody said it's like a really derogatory term.
some people might take it that way. I personally don't. I was looking into like the history of it a little bit, and really they used to be called stewardesses because generally it used to be women that were in the role.
Yeah.
Between like the 1940s to like 70s, 80s, and it would be women between the ages of like 22 and like 28 that were single, weren't married, didn't have families, stuff like that. Because the expectation was that when you hit a certain age, you're supposed to get married, have kids.
You move on to the next thing.
You move on to the next
Yeah,
thing.
you move on to the
Yeah.
next thing.
Now, of course, it was exclusively women in that role.
You did some research.
I did. I really did.
Oh my gosh.
I really
You-
did.
okay,
Yeah,
all right,
because
all right.
I didn't want
Holy
to come
cow.
on here and be like wrong. If you were like, no, she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Yes. Okay. So proceed. Sorry.
So it eventually got moved to flight attendant because it's more inclusive of, because the role definitely has changed. There used to be like weight and height restrictions, and some countries still have that where you have to be a certain age, can't be over a
That must have
certain
been before
age.
they used a stronger metal to make the planes or something.
Listen, I don't even know.
You just couldn't. You
just
couldn't have too much
couldn't-
weight on board.
You couldn't have too much weight on board. No, it was very like appearance based, right?
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah, right,
didn't fit
right.
into a certain box,
Like a bartender, or like a waiter or a waitress,
exactly,
or
exactly. And so it's obviously it's moved far from that, which I think
Right.
is great.
Yeah.
But it really, I mean, I think a big part of the shift then also has to do with, primarily flight attendants are there for your safety. And on a great day, I don't have to use anything that I learned in training. On a perfect day,
Really?
everything.
Because
that I
people are
learned-
just self-governing enough.
no, because in training, all we focus on is safety, right?
Yeah.
So,
So on a good day,
so on a good day,
you're not
I don't
crashing.
I'm not, exactly.
Oh, I see what you mean. On a good day,
On
the
a good
plane
day,
works.
The plane works. On the good day, all I have to do is pour Coke and hand you some cookies,
Right.
And so,
Right.
but people that haven't gone through training, haven't looked into what all goes into training, they don't necessarily think about that all the time, And
Yeah.
I learned a lot during training that I wouldn't have thought about if I hadn't gone through.
Yeah. Do you kind of see 6 weeks?
6 weeks? Yeah.
Do you kind of before were you like, oh my gosh, I was so oblivious. Just as a passenger, I didn't notice everything.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Really?
Like I used to not really think about like, okay, but why does the tray table have to go up, and like why?
Why does the tray table have to go up?
Because if you're in an emergency where you have to evacuate, if your tray table is down, you're blocking somebody's egress. So now
Oh,
you're endangering somebody's life because your tray table isn't up and they can't get out.
I see.
Same
I
thing with
see.
like your seat being reclined.
Yeah.
That's those additional like what 2-3 inches of space.
Oh, it's to clear
It's
so they
to
can
clear
get out.
so they can get out. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Interesting.
so everything that we do is primarily focused on safety. So
That's
yeah.
pretty cool. Because I was a little confused by you don't have to wear these if you don't want.
I feel like they're kind of cool.
Yeah,
no?
they're kind of cool. Well, I've used the headphones with people before, and then it like switches into a different mode. Like they're not as natural.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. When
Do
I
you feel like I'm really unnatural right
No,
now?
no.
Okay.
Actually, you're fine. But I'm just letting you know you have to. But the flight attendant is interesting because it's like I thought maybe it was kind of like a sexist thing of like, well, stewardess is, and I'm like, yeah, but like that's the same as waitress.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
waiter
so what
and
is it called?
waitress.
Like meal attendant? Flight attendant is like meal attendant? But no, it's not that.
Yeah, no, it really had to do with primarily it used to be women that were in that role.
Yeah.
And I think there definitely have been like times where it's been used in a derogatory way, and I know there are people
Yeah.
that are offended by that term. And maybe I haven't done enough research as to know exactly why, but because I still come across passengers that use that term, and
Well, how does it hit you? How does it hit your ears? Are you like,
I'm like, whatever. I'm literally never gonna see this person again. You know?
does it matter on their tone, kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've never had anybody use it in a like
energy and the way they say it.
demeaning way. Yeah. And it's usually older folks that were probably around when that was
Right.
still
That's what I
what
think.
was being used. Yeah. So they just like use it because it's just what they know. And I'm not saying that
That's what I
if
think.
you're old, you can't change and you can't grow. And I'm like, no, it just is what it is.
Yeah,
And
totally
so,
right.
Yeah, so it doesn't really bother me. But
That's the tone in which I hear people say it, like, "Oh, stewardess."
yeah,
It's almost like an airplane in the movie Airplane or something, where everybody's dressed up and everything, and they're like, "Oh, stewardess, could you please?"
Yes.
I think of it like that, and that's why when somebody's like, "I don't think you can say that," cover that in the first little bit. I don't think you can say that. I'm like, is it bad or like should I?
See,
I'm me though.
yeah.
I don't mean to say it that way, so I want to keep saying it.
Well, and like I said, I don't know. Maybe I'm being controversial. I don't know. I
Wrong
personally,
podcast for that.
Oh man,
This is as bland as half and half. You cannot say anything.
You cannot say anything.
No.
Yeah.
no.
So it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bug me. But I've also not had it used against me in like
Right.
a derogatory way, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So you live in the area. I'll cover a couple of things. I got a bunch of questions, stories, things like that that we
Yeah.
talked about, and and I want to show a couple of clips and get your take on them because the airline business is very interesting. It's this culmination of people that are just like they're just trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And in my kind of like yearning for like a more antiquated America a little bit, just like a dialed up version,
Mm-hmm.
I like to think like, well, I'm going to put on a little bit of, act. I'm going to dress up a little bit. I'm going to dress up my personality.
Mm-hmm.
But really it is, I mean, you get to the airport and it's just like everybody is there. It's this great, like, I don't even really mean great in like in a great way, but it's this vast collection of everybody is equal.
Yeah.
Everybody's equal. They're all just cattle on a train trying to get somewhere.
Trying to get somewhere.
Yeah. So is that difficult? Like, what do you think of the trend of what feels to me like the degradation of the quality of passenger? Like when we were young, my mom actually would make us dress up a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you wish that was still the case? Do you wish people tried a little bit more?
Not necessarily, because if you think about it, it's public transportation, right? Like you treat,
Oh, it's private transportation.
Private transportation for
that
the
has
general public.
For the
though,
general
right?
public, that
Okay.
has absolutely gone the way of public transportation. It's treated the same.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So with that, like, I wouldn't expect somebody to get on a bus, which I guess is different than an airplane, but
it should be.
It should.
Yeah, it should be. It should be.
Yeah. But there's definitely things where people have come on, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know, not because
You're bringing the wrong vibe, sailor.
vibes.
You're bringing the wrong vibe,
Right,
sailor.
where it's like, what's going to actually end up happening is because you're wearing just like shorts and flip-flops, all of a sudden you're going to get cold because this airplane is going to get cold, and then
Right.
it becomes my problem because you didn't prepare properly.
I see.
But
I see.
generally if they're not wearing anything that's like offensive to the general population, whether that's like extremely political one way or the other, or like vulgar language, or something like that.
What
I
do you do if somebody comes on and you can tell immediately, like, oh, this cat's bad business, whether because they just look like a character that is going to act bad, or just right out of the gate? Do you kind of tag them? Do you and the other ladies go, or guys? Does everybody, the flight attendants, do you kind of tag them a little bit and go,
oh
keep our eye on
yeah,
this guy?
actually, so during boarding, when people are coming on, we are kind of looking them up and down, because
Filtering a little bit.
filtering, because we're trying to find, we call them ABPs, able-bodied persons, who we think are going to be able to help us in an emergency situation. But we also look for things like, okay, here is somebody that's traveling by themselves, and say they're blind. Okay, so in an emergency, we're going to need to make sure that they know where they're going, right? So they get a special kind of briefing and whatnot. But then we also,
That's their gig every day, though. That's that's what they wake up to.
Oh my god.
They got to make sure they know where they're going. They're like, that's Monday to me.
But isn't that everybody's gig? We gotta wake up and like, I don't know what's happening today. But then we also look, like, if somebody gets on and they clearly seem to be intoxicated, we can't.
I got a couple buddies that would, you'd say, those schmoes.
We can't, do that. So we do pay attention to stuff like that, and we do, as a crew, kind of coordinate and are like, hey, did you witness this? Did you see this? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? And we touch base. And if we're still at the gate, like, ultimately, if it becomes a real concern of ours, we can have those people removed if we need to.
Have you had to do that? Before the plane even moves, you're like, yeah, we're all agreeing that we're seeing the same thing in this lady, this guy.
I actually have never had it before the plane moves, but I have had to come back to the gate before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're out on the runway and you're like, no, this is not going well.
Yeah, essentially.
Wow.
We had somebody come on, and I didn't hear most of these details until after we had gotten back to the gate. So that's kind of where it kind of sucked, because we're like, okay, so this could have been communicated beforehand, and we could have avoided this whole situation. But somebody came on, and they appeared to be under the influence of a certain drug. That smells very, very potently. That is legal in very many
You're
states.
talking about the marijuana. I've heard about the marijuana.
Yeah. So, and we always have to use, like, appears to be, right? Because I've
never used marijuana
proof.
What'd you say? Were you talking?
No. It's just the voices in
Who
your
are
head.
you? I'm so sorry. But the way I said marijuana, I just want to clarify. I don't smoke. Go ahead.
Oh.
So this person, you made it out to the runway. You go, this cat's got
we had
the devil's lettuce on him.
Yeah. Well, and the plane that we were on doesn't have is the only plane in our fleet that doesn't have monitors. And so we have to do a manual safety demo every time. And so we had just finished doing the safety demo, and I'm walking down the aisle, and this guy is like slumped, like so like fast asleep, but he's leaning out into the aisle. So he's kind of like blocking where I'm trying to walk past. So I try to like get his attention of like, hey, like just kind of
that never goes well. I feel like that never goes well.
He's not waking up. He is like so asleep. Jeez. And I was like, oh, like I could just like smell it on him, but just because I can smell it doesn't mean that they've actively participated in it, because it does, the smell does linger. So it does, and soaks into clothing and whatnot. But because he just wasn't like waking up from me, like trying to get his attention, and he's wearing this big fur coat and just like sweating, like it's kind of gross. I'm not gonna lie. It's just like
people were sitting next to him.
His son was sitting next to him.
So he kind of had a buffer to the general public's reaction. Like
yeah. So I was like, man, like I just don't know. I just don't know that we can keep going, because this could turn into a medical situation if he doesn't like wake up. I'm trying to wake him to get him back into his seat. Like if he's asleep, that's fine, but he's out into the aisle, so like he's blocking the way. And
you want to know if it's a medical situation before
we're up in the air,
thousands of feet up in the air.
Exactly. And so I was like, I don't know that we can go on with this person. And I was the lead on that flight, so I like
So it's up to you. If you're the lead, you're like, you can call it, or do you still have to have it corroborated
we
with?
still yeah. We
Yeah.
still tag team it. And I mean I still talk to the captain, to the pilots, so we can kind of figure out, hey, like what's the best
Yeah.
decision to make here. And so I called up to the pilots. I'm like, hey, like this is the situation that we're dealing with right now. Like, and most of the time, our captain's like, you know what, like whatever you decide to do, I've got your back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you
So
need
that's
their approval? Do they have to come back, or are they?
yeah. So because there's a lot of coordinating that goes on, right? Because then they have to call to the tower and be like, hey, we have the situation. We now need somebody to marshal us back into the gate. We need a gate agent down there to get the
Wow.
jet bridge pulled. So, and they have all the comms to make that communication happen.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
obviously do have to talk to them about it. And so I was like, he's just, he's profusely sweating. He's leaning into the aisle asleep. I can't get him to wake up. I don't want this to escalate into some sort of medical emergency.
And that's the ultimate tray table out.
Yeah, that's the ultimate tray
Yeah,
table
that's
out.
the ultimate seat not
Exactly.
inclined up. That's you
Exactly.
can't get around this cat.
Exactly.
Bigger
So
fellow too?
no, actually not.
Slimmer?
Just big coat is really
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Wow.
Yeah. So our captain was like, say no more. We're
Yeah.
returning to the gate. And so they came back with the jet bridge, and like that's good. We have staff that are trained to specifically handle these situations. And so the gate agent came on, and they got him off, and they were like, hey, just like for your safety, we
Yeah.
just want to make sure that you're fit to fly. We're gonna remove you from this flight, get you on a different one.
Did he wake up and he was furious? Was he like, why are we stopping? I was just asleep.
No,
Like, what are the reactions to something like that?
he seemed very like out of it and confused.
Yeah.
I more so felt
Par for the
so
course.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
just felt bad for his like child. Who
Was the child like 24?
No. Didn't
Or
look
8?
to be like,
Yeah,
looked to be like
yeah.
maybe 8 to 10 years old, like
Oh,
young,
man.
and
Just trying to get
so
home for Christmas, and you
Chris-
ruined everybody. So they
yeah.
couldn't. None of those people could get home for Christmas in time because
Well,
of that.
no, we actually made up a lot of time, and we still ended up.
Did you
landing
really?
Early. Oh yeah,
Dude,
it was
what
great.
is
It was
that? If you
great.
can make up time in the air and
Mhm.
land before you were intending to, why don't you just fly that speed?
Well, I think what it is,
We made up time. How about just hit the gas?
Well, but block time is different than flight time, right? So usually when you look at, oh, this flight's going to take 2 hours and you're in the air for an hour,
Yeah.
it's because the additional hour is the cushion of taxiing that they're calculating into
Yeah.
it. And so in the winter, especially, like they'll add like, okay, you have to de-ice at this location most likely. So we're going to add another, I don't know, say 20, 30 minutes for de-icing and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
Which is why sometimes they're like, man, we've been de-icing for 45 minutes and we still landed early. Like, how did that happen? And it's just because that's been
Yeah.
built into the overall block time of that
The whole
flight.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's why we were able to, make up the time. And like I said, we had not gotten far. We had just pushed back from the gate, just finished the safety demo when we returned.
That's incredible.
So
Do people get mad
yeah.
at you? Does everybody else like? Can they tell that it's you? Like they know that you were the one that had to evaluate it, and they're like, "Why didn't you just let him sleep? I got my kid's recital in 3 hours." Has anybody ever looked at you the wrong way or made a thing?
No, well, that's the only time they've ever had to remove
Oh,
somebody.
I see. So did it go wrong then? Did people?
No, people.
Okay,
I
all right.
think because
Yeah.
our pilots came on and they were like, "Hey, just like we're concerned about somebody's like health, so we remove them."
These seem like pilots who are really, really chill. Like
and
they can't communicate.
they can communicate. Every once in a while, we get some real good ones. No, overall, I would say our
Yeah.
pilots are pretty good. I will say I have had a couple where I'm like, "Ooh, the vibes are off," but
Yeah.
whatever. Generally speaking, we're all on the same page.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which is good. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite airport? You live here in Elgin, so obviously or you're not Midway.
no,
No,
I
you're
fly. I commute out of O'Hare, so I'm based in Detroit. So
got it.
anytime I go to work, it's funny. I take pretty much every mode of transportation except for boat to get to work.
Are you
'cause
serious?
I take my car, I drive to the airport, and I park, and then I have to get on a bus that takes me to like the transportation portal,
Yeah.
and then I get on the train that takes me to the terminal, and then I get on a plane to take me to my airport.
Wow. So you every time you work, because you're based out of where?
So Detroit.
Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you work, you have to get to Detroit first.
Correct.
That's your commute.
That's my commute.
Wow.
Yeah.
Before you can even clock in.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But that's very, very common in the industry.
Yeah, I have
So,
a buddy
mhm.
who flies for Alaskan Airlines. So he moved out there. I think. Oh shoot, he's gonna hate me. He lives in Port
Portland?
Seattle.
Seattle?
Anyway, he moved out there because he's like, it makes no sense for me to live here
Yeah.
and fly out
all
there
the way over
just to now be on the clock.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So what is your favorite airport? Have you ever gone to O'Hare, flown to Detroit just to fly back to O'Hare?
Yes.
Yeah, you do that all the time. Why can't they just have you stay there?
Okay, actually, fun story. I had a friend who also
That's all the time we have, folks. Thanks so much.
I have a friend who also lives in Chicago
Yeah.
and commutes to Detroit. And we were talking one time, and he had picked up a trip where it was a very easy trip. The first part of the trip was a deadhead from Detroit to O'Hare.
And you told me what that means, but deadhead means basically you're a captain and you're just going.
Well,
as a
deadhead means
passenger.
you're a crew member. That's
I see.
Yeah, you're on the clock, but you're being flown to a location as a passenger because they need you in that location to work a flight or whatever. Yeah, so they were going to deadhead from Detroit to Chicago and then work a flight from Chicago to Seattle, Chicago to Salt Lake City, and then Salt Lake City back to Detroit, and that was it. Be done. So what we can do when we have deadheads is we can deviate from them.
Yeah.
Depending on what the operation's looking like, but typically they let you deviate.
What does that mean, to deviate from it? So
to deviate from your deadhead means, hey, thanks for this deadhead. I'm not going to be on it, but I will be at the location where you need me to work my flight. So that's still the expectation.
So they take a deadhead flight from O'Hare to Detroit. And excuse me,
no, the
that's
other
disgusting.
Way around. Detroit to O'Hare.
Detroit to O'Hare, and they can say, I'm actually not going to work the one I was
what they'll
for?
say is no. So the deadhead from Detroit to O'Hare, right? They're sitting as a passenger.
Yeah.
So my friend who lives in Chicago is like, hey, I'm not going to be on that flight because I'm already in Chicago.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense for me to go to Detroit to come back. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so you can do that.
Yes.
You can kind of skip that a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay.
So he did that, and then they ended up having a mechanical issue with the plane in Chicago that they were supposed to take to Salt Lake City. So after a couple hours, that flight canceled. So they were going to just have the crew deadhead back to Detroit because we start all our trips and we end all our trips in our base.
Yes, right.
So
right. That's what I know about Alaskan as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were going to deadhead him back, and he was like, well, I'm going to deviate from that deadhead again because I don't need to go back to
Has
Detroit.
he flown at all in this?
Right, exactly.
I don't think he hasn't, right?
And so he got paid to sit at O'Hare for a couple hours and then go right back home. I was like, wow, what a dream.
That's insane.
Yeah. So sometimes things really work out in our favor like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's incredible. That is so interesting.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite airport?
What's my favorite? I honestly, I'll have to think about that one because I fly into the same like.
What are the main ones? Because what I know about other airlines is that they don't all go to all places.
Correct.
And they, so they're selective. So have you gone to every airport, or are there some that you, in your current role, will never go to because it's not what your airline services?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
LaGuardia.
I have flown to LaGuardia a lot of times.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big one. Obviously, if you're not flying into LaGuardia, that's
what
probably
are you doing?
Yeah, you're probably not making any money as an airline. Yeah, that's a dumb question.
Yeah, I've flown into there many times. That one actually, now that it's been like remodeled, is really nice.
Really?
When they were still in the construction process, sometimes it would take you had to go like all the way around and go. It was not a shortcut. It was a long cut, if you will. And you had to walk.
Wait, what do you mean? When you fly, when
you get to LaGuardia, if you have to change gates, you have to walk like 35 minutes to get to your other gate. And we're like
worse than O'Hare?
And
I don't think O'Hare's that bad. Or have I just not gone to enough places?
Maybe you haven't gone to enough places.
O'Hare is actually longer?
Sometimes. Depends on where in O'Hare you are. Because there's one, I don't remember what gate it is, but there is one gate at O'Hare where it feels like it's like 16 jet bridges just like welded to each other.
Yeah,
and you're walking,
it's Frontier. I think it's Frontier. It's
I've flown in there on United before, though. I don't know.
Okay, interesting.
It
was so long.
So long.
And is it the one where they have those new walkways?
Yeah, with all the colorful lights and stuff. Oh, no, you're thinking of Terminal 5 probably, where they...
Oh, I am thinking of Terminal 5. I try to avoid Terminal 5, but I picked up a cheap... I really do. It was Terminal 5, and it was very far, and it was Frontier. You're not talking about that.
No, I'm talking about... I think it's like Terminal 2 or 3, and it just was the longest...
I love those lights. I love you go
You go
down and there's
down
lights and
there's
everything.
lights and it's pretty. I
Yeah.
like that. But no, this was like
Sorry,
a jet bridge
something
getting
different.
from the plane to the terminal. And I felt like I was walking down this jet bridge for like 10 minutes. I'm like, why is it not ending? It was so long.
What is a jet bridge? You said that if I should have asked
So a
you
jet
earlier
bridge is
on.
what connects the terminal to the plane. You know, the little like hallway that you walk. You
Yeah,
scan
the
your
thing that
ticket.
extend.
Yeah. That's the jet bridge.
Oh, so the jet bridge was.
It was so long. It was.
Oh my
I
goodness!
know I
I'm
said
really stumped
16,
now.
but it really was only the length of like maybe 3 or 4 jet bridges.
Yeah,
But it
those are
was
short.
typically. Yeah, but for
Wow.
some reason it was so long.
That's weird. Did they just park super far?
No, I think it's just what that jet bridge is.
So what's your favorite
what's my-
airport? So which ones won't you go to? You'll never. What region of the United States do you?
I do a lot of international flying, and when I do domestic flying, I typically like to stay in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Because usually, especially with flights out of Detroit, usually those are pretty chill. The passengers are great, the flights are short. You've got the like Midwest friendly people,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
those are generally like my favorite domestic routes. But every once in a while, you know, if you're doing those shorter flights, that means you're doing like 2, 3, 4 flights a day, and that gets kind of exhausting sometimes. But if I sometimes I try to switch it up a little bit. So I have done them where I go to the West Coast. It's one flight there. We stay there for like 24 hours, and then we do one flight back, and we're done. You know. So sometimes that is preferable depending on my mood that day. But I do generally like Midwest flying, shorter routes.
Yeah. Is that where you're gone and then you're back the same night or something? Or maybe it's one night, but it's
It
pretty
could
short.
be. As somebody who commutes to work, it doesn't make sense for me to do trips that are only one day.
Yeah.
So I generally try to have trips that are at least 2 or 3 days.
Is that better money too? It's like if I'm going to be
Yeah.
out, I might as well be
I
out
might
a
as
little
well
bit.
be out. Yeah, exactly. And in between those trips, like on your layovers, like the company provides the hotel and the transportation to and from the hotel. So if I did, you know, 1 3-day trip versus 3 1-day trips, in between those individual 1 days, I'd have to provide my own hotel and stuff versus
Right.
the 3-day trip where I'm on
Company,
a trip,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
signed
yeah,
in,
yeah.
you know, then the company provides all of that. So that is preferable to me because I'm,
Yeah.
you know, saving
Is the money different if you do 3 1-day? The expenses you just said are different, but is it?
It can be. It depends on the type of flight you're doing or the type of trip you're doing.
Yeah.
Our pay is very.
Yeah,
If
careful
you're,
now.
it's very confusing if you're not in the aviation industry because the majority of our money we make during actual flight time, which goes from the minute that the brake is released to the minute that the brake is set.
That's what I've heard with,
Yeah.
with my pilot friend. Yeah.
And so
And then if the flight's delayed, it actually works in your favor because you're like on the plane still, right?
it depends.
Oh,
because
really?
If you're still at the gate,
He's like, I love sitting in the cockpit as long as possible. That's when I get paid.
yes, but only if the brake's released. So if you're still sitting at the
Oh,
gate,
only if the yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure I think you're right.
Yeah.
I've heard that before. So the brake has to be released. The plane has to be moving.
basically like we have to
Wow.
have started to push back. Now if we're
Interesting.
sitting on the like tarmac or the taxiway and we're
Is that
delayed,
different?
That's different because the brake's been released. So the clock's
see.
now running. You
The
know, now we're
original
getting-
first brake has to be
Yes,
released.
yeah.
Interesting.
So you
Interesting.
have to essentially push back from the gate is what it is.
Wow.
Until you know, clock into the gate. And most airlines don't pay you during boarding, which is
Oh.
I would say a lot of work gets done.
It is
during
a lot of
boarding.
work.
Yeah, so most airlines don't
goodness.
pay during boarding. I'm lucky enough that my airline does.
Those should count as community hours or something.
Yeah,
Thanks for your volunteer work.
Right, but you're also required to usually clock it, depending on the type of flight it is. Usually you're on duty 1 hour prior to the flight starting, but you're not getting paid your flight pay at that time. It's
Interesting.
usually just like a little bit of loose change here and there for, you know,
Yeah.
the first hour of
You're
your
working off tips for that first hour.
Essentially.
I should start carrying some fives.
I know. I
didn't
read
know it was that
somewhere.
bad.
I don't know how like accurate this is, but I read somewhere once that flight attendants do about 40 to 60 hours of unpaid work a month.
Wow,
I'm like,
really?
Oh my gosh, that's so
Well, that
much.
makes sense. That's what you just said.
Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness, I would not have thought about that. So a
Yeah.
flight attendant does not get paid until, and maybe this vary a little bit by airline,
It
but a
does-
flight attendant
yeah.
doesn't get paid until the brake is released.
Yeah. So it varies by airline for sure,
Wow.
but it's
Have some compassion
it's-
on the flight attendants then.
Thank you.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
goodness, they're literally pushing your 50-pound thing up into the
Well,
up into the clang, clang, bang, bang,
that's
bang
another thing,
for free.
though.
Jeez Louise.
Technically, we're not supposed to lift bags.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
We shouldn't have to,
we
first
should.
of
Well,
all.
first
We
off,
shouldn't
if
have
you
to.
packed it, you should be able to lift it. And
Totally right.
there have been times where I have packed my bag and I'm like, whew, this is really heavy. And I'm fighting for my life trying to get it in the overhead bin. But the issue is if we are lifting every single person's bag, we can get injured, right? Like,
Yeah.
And if I'm injured, that means I can't work. And if I can't work, that means I'm not making money. And if I'm not making money, I can't pay my bills.
Right.
So
the actual airline policy is you would prefer not to lift bags, or you're saying no, we're actually not allowed to?
yeah, so typically we're not supposed to. I think that's pretty standard over with most airlines.
About the bags.
About the bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, if you get injured on the clock, not only are you injured, can't potentially work, but now it's like almost like a workers' comp, thing because you're on the clock. So
Right.
we call them OJIs or on the job injuries. And so
Wait, so if you get, I just want to, and then we'll move on. This is maybe just some nitty gritty stuff. Then we'll get to the fun stuff. But if you're part of why you're not paid for the boarding is because if you start lifting bags, you're technically getting injured while you're on the job.
Oh, I don't know. I've never thought about it that way.
They're not going to pay you for the first hour because you could do some quote unquote risky behavior and helping people, and then now you're getting paid. Now you're getting injured on the job.
Not necessarily, because if you do get injured on the job, because it is technically a workman's comp thing. So you still, like, if you have to go out on like leave or we call it going out on OJI, like I said, on the job injury, you still get paid for that time that you're off. It's not because you have like short-term disability and long-term disability. It just depends on the extent of your injury. So technically you would still get paid for it, but I don't know. I've never thought about it.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, whether that's true or not, and maybe that's, maybe there'll be riots.
Play a role for sure. Yeah.
Maybe I've uncovered something that everybody will be writing. But no, it is interesting that the first hour of boarding is just good, helpful, courtesy stuff.
Good vibes. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so
that's when people are the worst. I'm not asking you to agree, but that's what I'm just saying is like.
I will say a lot of times that's when I've had the most issues with people, and it's funny to me because during boarding, for some reason, the first 6 letters of the alphabet seem to be the hardest for people to figure out.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like if you're sitting in like.
What's special about A through F? America First? What is that?
People can't figure it out. Like somebody's supposed to be in like 21A and they're sitting down in like 21D, and I'm like,
oh, you're talking about
yeah. I'm like, it's labeled. It's just it's right there. Just
they're getting confused. They're sitting in F, and you're like, no, you're A.
not even in the right row. Like,
wow.
Yeah, so that does happen a lot, but sometimes
not an impressive group that flies. I'm really not impressed. What did you think of Secretary Duffy's thing at Christmas, where he's like, just try a little bit, dress up?
I actually didn't. I guess I've seen like. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I've seen, but
let's class it up a little bit. Let's help the flight attendants. Let's act like, we're out in public. Listen, I loved it.
I think it's great if people want to dress up. I also don't think it's required for people to dress up. Now, there is a difference between a paying passenger who has paid for their ticket to be there and somebody that is on airline benefits and is flying standby as a non-revenue passenger. So we do have a certain like dress code because you are representing the company, you are representing the airline, right? So generally, I mean, a good rule of thumb, and I think this actually should go for anyone, is be clean, don't be stinky.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's,
I totally agree. I completely agree.
Yeah, because I have been on flights where somebody might not have showered that day.
That's gross.
And also not put on deodorant. And then it just
you don't have to say it as like somebody, you don't have to be the one to say it as a passenger. Maybe I'm more allowed to say it. You're totally right.
It happens.
Totally
It happens. And I know things happen where like maybe they were stuck overnight at the airport. Maybe something happened, their flight canceled, whatever. But it is rough when you're stuck on a metal tube and somebody is just so stinky.
Would you like to change the color of the sign? Of the Big Whoop sign?
Oh.
This is the default from the last time I used it. And I think maybe I'll just let it be a guest thing of, here, would you like to?
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
I clanged it and hit it a little. Oh, frick. Am I going to? No, I'll just leave it there. Here, you can choose what color you'd like.
This is so exciting.
Here, there's the colors, and then I think you can do scene, and there's like more fancy stuff. So
Okay.
maybe I'll just do the scene one. That's very interesting. Yeah, let's see what you choose. I'm assuming I don't know, I think purple. Yeah, I was not too opposed to that at all. I think, there should be a certain standard of entry into society of like, because if you're living life of like, what's the minimum I can get away with? I'm not really interested in that. And I do that myself. And I'm like, no, I don't even like that I do that.
Yeah.
So if you're like, okay, I'm going to go to the store. Yeah, maybe that's a little different. But I don't know. Maybe people would just disagree with me. But I think, take yourself seriously.
Yeah, but I also think like, okay,
Especially then if you're going to be in a metal tube with other people.
but my biggest thing is be clean. Just be clean.
Oh, true.
Because
what a low bar. This is so sad.
But like if you think about it, like sometimes you get on a
clean.
plane and you're going to be on this plane for 10 hours.
Yeah,
So then
crazy.
like, do you want to be in like
International flights, we got to touch on that.
Yeah, do you want to be in like a business casual attire or do you want to be in like comfy clothing? Because I would much rather be in like comfy clothes.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So again, if you're clean, whatever.
I get it. I wish we had maybe pardon me while I eat this grape, everybody. I wish we had a ring or two higher of maybe standards.
Yeah.
What color have you chosen now?
I chose desert. and
Oh,
that's
interesting.
Blinking.
My issue with the first couple of episodes in here was, I love that. Well, blue's my favorite
This
color.
one is deep sea.
I'm a perpetual 12-year-old.
That's fine.
This is deep sea.
This is deep sea.
That's my favorite I've ever seen.
Okay, well,
That's my
let's
favorite I've
Keep
ever
that one
seen.
then.
No, it's you. It's you.
No, I like it.
Okay, you're fine
I
with
like
that?
it. I'm fine with that.
Look at this. Karst Cave. What is that? Is that German? Karst?
Where is it?
One below?
Cost Cave. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know German.
Yes, you do. What do you mean you don't know German?
I've literally never even stepped foot in Germany.
All right, let's do it. Let's do a couple of fun things. What is? You want to be a pilot? You ever thought about that?
I have thought about that.
Really?
Actually. Yeah.
Would you?
I
would take you over some of these cats.
Listen, I really have thought about it.
Yeah.
I was very, very
I meant that to say that the current pilots, like current CDL drivers and
Yeah.
everybody in the world, is very like concerningly low.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever,
Yeah.
like whatever hindrances there are, whether it's like, well, typically females aren't pilot, like
some of my best
just smacked the
crews
mic.
have been
Yeah.
have been
you should be a
female
pilot.
captains.
You should be a pilot.
I-
So far, I'm unimpressed with the
With
current
me?
with the current bench,
bench.
of pilots. Let's get you to the front, is what I
I
mean.
really I have tried. I've gone to do my my class 1 medical, I think that's what it's called. The issue is I have a medical condition which unfortunately
Yeah, it's called
disqualifies me.
Coolio syndrome.
It's called Coolio
It's called
syndrome.
dope. Or I'm sorry, this
Yeah.
I should not have thrown in a joke there.
No, that's fine. I get really, really bad migraines.
Oh, well,
and
let's see. Oh, boy.
those-
Yeah.
some of the side effects of
Well,
that.
I hope you really like being a flight attendant, because that is
honestly, okay. When
a migraine on a pilot is not good.
is not good.
That's not
And
good.
migraines in and of itself aren't the disqualifying factor. It's the side effects that come along with it.
What are the side effects? Not being able to see?
Yeah, that's no, literally though. That's
I know.
it's-
Gosh dang.
and not everybody gets them that.
I do.
that
That's the only
badly.
symptom I get.
Really, my mouth goes numb. My hands start to tingle.
Oh
go
my
numb.
gosh, really?
Yeah, I get so nauseous.
That's called epilepsy. That's called
well, so
that's called what Lazarus had,
there-
I think.
so essentially, if you get stroke-like symptoms with your migraines, that's essentially what disqualifies you, from my understanding. And
Not being able to see.
not being able to see is
Okay.
obviously because what if you have a
I will not be a
migraine
pilot.
and you can't see and
Yeah.
you're
Right.
that provide that's
Yeah.
an
That's
issue.
that. You
That's
don't
an
even have to
issue. You know,
explain it. Yeah.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
It's like being a food critic and
yeah, but so when I was
not
looking
having a
into
stomach.
it,
I don't know.
I honestly, it was one of
I don't
those
know.
where it wasn't my lifelong dream to become a pilot. So when I basically was like, oh, okay, great, can't do that, it wasn't like heartbreaking or earth shattering for me or whatever, because I love my job. I really love my
Yeah,
job. And
it shows. Your
the-
Instagram stuff and everything is cool. There's a
Thank
clear
you.
passion.
Thank
What's your
you.
Instagram, by the way, before I...
at Chiara Kotschi, give me a follow if you like mediocre content. So
Wow, what a pitch. What a pitch. Maybe I will not have you do the V8 thing. So you can be a pilot because you get some migraines, but you don't have the disqualifying symptoms of migraines?
That is up to a doctor to decide.
Wow.
And
Interesting.
yeah, and so I don't want to like I don't know, it's one of those where it's like I could go and have a doctor tell me, "No, you're great, you're good." But I also could go and then be like, "No."
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I'm really happy in my job.
Yeah.
The one big thing too that I was always so back and forth about, pilots, you're stuck with that aircraft that you're working, right? So you really only can fly to certain places because you are only flying where that aircraft goes.
Yeah.
Whereas a flight attendant, I'm qualified on all of our aircrafts, which means I can go to essentially all of the locations that we fly to.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
that's kind of fun.
What do you, and we don't have to keep these sunglasses on. I feel bad.
Oh my gosh. There we go. Wow, it's so much brighter out here.
The red on the screen doesn't help, but that's what you look like without sunglasses.
I still look cool, I think.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Where have you landed the most? Outside of Detroit, O'Hare?
Frankfurt.
Yeah, so let's get to international flights.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How long is a flight to Frankfurt?
It depends on where you're flying out of. Out of Detroit, typically, if we're going over to Frankfurt, it's around between 7 hours and 15 minutes to 8 hours, depending on the winds.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad.
I thought it might have been longer.
Coming back is
Why
usually
is
longer.
Tampa like 3 hours, but then Frankfurt's like 8 hours? Explain that. We'll be right back. Thank you, guys. Yeah. That's crazy. That's actually shorter than I thought, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're in Detroit, you're already basically in Canada, right? So you're already far up north. You really only got to go over.
Do you go over? You go over North Pole?
Not over the North. We don't go quite that far north. We go over like Canada and then Greenland.
I see.
London.
What's the airline industry's take on the Greenland situation?
No idea.
Are they rattled? Are you guys all? What's the group text like?
What's the group text like?
Yeah.
I don't know. They didn't include me.
Let's go back to the actual serious matters. So international flights, those are very cool. So what's different between it, other than the flight time, obviously, the time in the air, what's different between
Oh my gosh. Can't take you anywhere.
It snuck up on me.
You wouldn't show up on time anyway.
I don't know. Let's see if I have some buttons to press. Nope. That's not what I wanted. Say that. Shoot. Say that again. Say the thing about me again.
Which thing? Just don't show up on time. It's fine. You don't have to think I'm funny. I think I'm funny, and that's all.
Just funny you say that. I know it's like the worst thing that I will never get a handle on.
That's fine. It's just who you are, and we love that about you.
Let's get back to it. So other than the flight time of an international flight, what is different about it? How do you prep? What are the people like? Yeah,
so our service is very different. Say it's a 7.5 hour flight or so, the first hour to 2 hours of the flight, we're doing a meal service. And
why do you do it right out of the gate?
Because people are hungry. People
even if it's like a 2 p.m. flight, like if it's at dinner time. Oh, okay. Okay. You still do it right out of the gate.
We do it right out of the gate because then people also want time to like relax and sleep, right?
Yeah, right.
So
they want to get that over with. Let me sleep. Don't wake me up 2 hours.
I will say it is funny. Nobody ever wants to sit in the back until the back is open.
Yes, totally right.
Yeah,
totally
same thing
right.
With like the last row.
I've been on a couple that are international. Yeah, that are like that. Then the back is gold.
And then the back is gold.
Yeah.
Never happy with what they have. I get it.
That's true.
I'm the same way. I get it. There was one time somebody was getting off the plane, and they like thank the pilots as they're getting off, and they're like, "Thanks for landing us safely." And the pilot goes, "It's company policy."
That's pretty good.
It was so good. I loved it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good
All right,
one.
you guys got some laughs. You guys got some jokes. Do
But
most flight attendants want people to like interact with them, or are they? I guess it's so wildly different.
Yeah,
but
it really does depend. I will say the only place on the plane that we have kind of for ourselves are the galleys. So on longer flights, I totally understand people get up, they want to stretch and all of that, and I absolutely don't mind if they come back there to like chat a little bit because I do enjoy talking to people. But what is like the hardest to deal with or the most frustrating is that when we're actively trying to set something up or like set up a service or,
Yeah.
load the ovens, whatever. And then they're trying to like have conversation where
I
it's
see.
like they can clearly see that I'm busy trying to do my job, but I don't want to be rude and
Yeah.
dismissive either. Like I
Yeah.
said, I do enjoy talking to people, but that does make it a little harder, only because I need to do my job and prepare.
And then it's fake too, because you're like trying to put, and you're like, yeah.
Like, get out of here.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's wearing.
But overall, I don't mind. But then like, if all of a sudden there's like 20 people crowding back there, I'm like,
What are 5 things you wish every passenger knew?
that's a really good question.
Or a couple of things, whatever comes to your mind.
Overhead bin space is not specific to you or your seat. The overhead bin space really is a first come, first served basis.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that you can come on with 8,000 bags and take up every single overhead bin space, right? But that does mean if there's not a space directly above your seat, that's okay. You can use a different
You can
space
use somebody
that's
else's.
available. Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying the
Just because
spot that's right above your seat isn't necessarily yours?
Yeah, exactly. It's not reserved for you. Sometimes some of our bins will say like, reserved for first class or
I just thought it was really good courtesy. I knew obviously it doesn't say, spot for this person.
Well, and generally people that's where they put their bags, and that makes complete sense because that's where you're sitting. But if you're the last person on the plane and there's not a spot above your seat and you're like, well, this bin's full, that's my spot. It's like, it's really not. It's first come, first serve. You are the last person on the plane, whether that's because you were late, whether that's because of like the type of ticket that you have. So you're like in the last boarding group, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get a spot in the bin right above your seat. And if there's other open spots, we're happy to have you put your stuff up in there. And if there's not, we'll check your bag and call it a day.
So rule number 1, Chiara's 5, wish we could yell this at passengers. Rule number 1 is spot above your seat is not reserved specifically for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. So we break that thought. What's what's something else?
I also, still kind of going off of the overhead bin space.
Yeah.
It really, even though it is first come, first serve, we do generally want you to put just your like larger roller bag in the bin and then your personal item under the seat in front of you so that we can get all the bags on board that need to get on board. And this is especially important when you have a flight that's what we call payload optimized, where basically they've already calculated what the like weight is going to be for this plane and they can't take or check more bags than they need to because it throws off the weight and balance of the plane, which means that all the carry-ons need to make it into the cabin. So we're like playing around with it. So, and that, like I said, that can cause a delay because now if we have like 16 suitcases in the back because they couldn't find space for in the bin for their bag, we're looking around. We're like, okay, can we shift things around here? Can we make it fit there? And
Meanwhile, you're not even getting paid.
We're not even getting paid.
That's crazy.
We're playing Tetris for free out here.
Yeah. And dealing with all the personalities too.
Yeah. So
okay, so those are your couple of rules. They're specifically about boarding, specifically with the things above. Your favorite airport?
Oh yeah, I guess we never
answered.
We never actually answered that.
We went, good ways from there. But what is your favorite airport that you've worked at?
You know what? Favorite airport that I've ever flown into, maybe not because of the airport, but because of the layover.
Yeah.
Lahui, Hawaii.
Oh, that makes sense.
Gorgeous layover. I was so thrilled to land there.
Wow.
Also just really pretty when you're landing because it's just like island and ocean and beauty.
That's so cool. What's the longest what's a typical layover?
For
domestic.
Oh gosh. It ranges anywhere between like 11 hours and 30 hours.
That's not that long.
It's not. No.
Not
at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And international.
I genuinely thought you were going to be like 4 days or something.
Oh no, it's really just an overnight and then
I see.
Go on.
What's it on an international?
On international, it's like depending on the time of year. You'll do like if everything goes as planned, 24 hours to a couple days.
Let me hit you with a couple of quick questions. Any fights or incidents with customers you've dealt with? Let's get to the good stuff. This will be the clip. This will be the clip that I put out. Any fights or incidents that you've
Yes, nothing that's like escalated to where I needed to remove anybody from the flight because of that situation.
Okay.
But especially flying during COVID, The biggest issue was always the mask, and people not wanting to
Yeah.
wear their masks. And listen,
Yeah, that was me.
I get it because like you're sitting for however long wearing them.
Yeah.
It's after 2 years
I
of
hated that
already
so
having,
much.
but
Did that cause
same.
some fights, some incidents?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. One of my classmates from training actually ended up being on the news because they had to remove somebody. And, everybody pulls out their phones immediately and
Yeah.
was like filming and
Yeah.
whatnot. And like nothing like dramatic happened. It was just, oh, here another passenger has to be removed because they aren't listening to what the flight attendants are saying, which on an airplane, you do have to listen to what we're saying. So the mask thing, that was a big thing. But for me,
Yeah.
I never had to kick anybody off the plane because of a mask
Well, your
issue,
girl
and
who
so-
had a fight or an incident, was it actually, did it turn into a fight, or she just had to, what made the news?
The news was made when they decided that they would remove this passenger because they weren't compliant.
It was probably me.
And
We pull it up, it's me. I just forgot.
You're like, oh yeah, that did happen.
That would be me.
Yeah, and so then the passenger started to get like loud, and
Yeah.
I don't remember them getting like physically aggressive, but I think their language started getting very aggressive.
It hit
And
a
of
point where
course-
they
yeah,
gotta
and
go.
of course, like
Yeah.
people are recording all of that. So that was just in the news all the time. Not that specific incident, but like those types of incidents,
Yeah.
And again, it's like it's one of those things where it's like I want to be understanding, but at the same time, like, yeah, you might have to wear it for an hour and a half flight. I'm working a 13-hour day.
Right.
So I'm wearing it all day. So
Right,
I
right.
understand the frustration, but it's also that's a federal law. It's FAA regulated at this point. Like there's
Yeah.
only so much that I can do, and so yeah.
What triggers outside of that? What triggers most conflicts? Alcohol, seats, entitlement?
Yeah, or a combination of those.
Yeah.
I would say usually a lot of times it's when there are any sort of like delays or cancellations where people's flights are impacted, and I always feel so bad when that happens because like ultimately like we also are just trying to get to where we're going, right? So
Yeah.
I do try to have empathy with that because it is frustrating because I've had it plenty of times where I'm just trying to get home and my flight's delayed and delayed and delayed
Yeah.
or canceled or
Right.
can't get on, and that is frustrating because we do want people to get to where they're going, but we also want them to get there safely. So I try to like listen as best as I can. Oh man. It's about to be just whooping here.
Just
That's
whoop.
so funny.
What movie or show do you think has the most realistic portrayal of a flight attendant's life?
Oh, of a flight attendant's life.
Yeah.
Snakes on a plane.
What's your favorite overnight layover city and why?
Ooh, my favorite overnight layover city and why is the one time that I was in Hawaii. Because it was gorgeous. I was working with a friend and our flight home canceled, so we got a whole extra day there. So
Oh, I saw that on Instagram.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
great.
that's
That was
cool.
great. And
That's
it was-
cool.
I just anything at the beach. I love me a good beach.
Yeah. How do you stay busy on long overnights? Full tourist mode, chilling, crew hangouts?
It depends.
Yeah.
If it's somewhere where I've been a million
These
times.
are yes or no answers.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Favorite airplane to work on? Yes or no?
For international.
Yeah. How do you stay busy?
Usually, okay. It depends on my crew.
Were you going to answer the favorite plane?
I was.
Oh, that's so funny.
I was just gonna move on. No,
That's so funny.
If it's a good crew, I do enjoy hanging out with my crew.
Right. Have you ever had the same person twice? I've heard on other airlines. Okay,
Oh, all
other
the
airlines,
time,
it's
all the
like
time.
never
Yeah.
see you again.
Yeah, no, so a lot of domestic flying, it's like, oh, I've worked with this person one time like 6 years ago and I've never seen them
Yeah.
since then. A lot of my
Oh,
international
6 years.
Yeah, sometimes
That's a long time.
It's a long time before you see somebody again. And then you do and you're like, you look really familiar. I think we've worked or we've seen each other in the lounge or at the airport, yeah. But
Right,
on my international flights, I see a lot of the same people. Which sometimes is a good thing, sometimes it's not so great because I'm like, oh, I've worked with this person before and I don't necessarily care to work with them because our personalities don't match or they aren't as hard of a worker as I think that I am, and so then I feel like I'm picking up slack all the time.
Totally true.
But generally speaking, I've enjoyed all of my cruise.
How do you stay busy on long overnights? Full tourist mode, chilling, or crew hangouts?
So again, it just depends on my mood that day.
Okay.
Sometimes I just
Depends on where it is too. If it's Atlanta,
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
you're there
yeah,
for
domestic.
if you're
like, this
only
is
there for
stupid.
like 12 hours,
Yeah.
then I become what we call slam clickers, where you slam the door shut and you click the lock, and you don't see me again until pickup
Oh,
time.
I see. Like in the
Yeah,
hotel room or something.
yeah,
you're saying.
exactly. But if it's like a long layover and we're somewhere for like 20 some hours,
You're talking about if you have a 3-day layover in Dover, you wouldn't get out and just absolutely
then I might
go full tourist mode on
go-
Dover.
Listen,
I don't even know where
okay,
Dover
one
is.
of the most surprising layovers that I've ever had was Fargo.
That I
And
should have picked that.
yeah,
Yeah, that's classic.
I
That's classic.
was expecting it
How
to
long?
30 hours.
Jeez Louise.
What really made it so much better is that my friend was able to get on this trip literally so last minute, like 2 hours at most before sign-in. Somebody swapped their
I remember that from
trip.
Instagram
Yeah,
too. Yeah,
yeah.
It was to Fargo?
It was to Fargo. And
No, I thought it was like somewhere with a beach.
no, not that one.
Your friend.
My friend, yeah.
Have you actually had a good meal on a plane?
Yes.
And is there a difference between crew meals versus passenger food?
um
Leftovers, packing your own?
So
What's the scoop?
yeah, so depending on again, everything is so dependent on the type of flight, right? So crew meals typically is the same as what like first class would get.
Crew meals is the same as first class. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And so with that, they'll load extra meals. And it's usually a variety of extra meals that are designated for the crew.
Would you rather pack your own food?
Yes.
Oh, really?
100%.
Is a crew first class meal, is that free?
It is, yeah, it is free.
But
to
you'd
us.
still rather have
I would rather have my
what are they
own
feeding us?
food.
You would still bring your own ham and bologna sandwich.
Yeah, because
than
here's
have
the thing: when you're doing our menu doesn't
slop.
change every flight, right?
Yeah.
We have the same menu for several months before they change it. So every time I go to work, I don't want to eat the same.
That's true. Even if it's free. Your favorite airline meal you've ever had?
Okay, we used to do this pesto I think it was like a pesto basil chicken. And
Oh, I've had
or
that.
maybe it was just a basil chicken, and it was
I don't
just
know if
like
I've
this
flown on your
really
airline.
creamy like basil sauce with chicken. And I don't know, it was
good.
so good. And we used to, when I first started flying, we used to have a passion fruit mousse for dessert. Oh, I bodied those. Those were so good. They were so good. Yeah, if we had leftovers, you could catch me in the back galley, just like
just slamming those.
Slamming those, so good.
What is the most? And then I'm going to get to which I feel a little bad about. How you got into this? What is your most basic in-flight complaint you hear all the time, and why do passengers not just figure it out themselves without complaining? Most basic in-flight complaint you hear all the time.
Okay, so a basic in-flight complaint that doesn't have to do with like
like a passenger, like if I'm like, hey, how do you turn on the air? And you're like, and you turn it, and then you're like, why can't they just figure out? Like, what is the most common reason why people ding the button, I guess?
Oh, most of the time it's because actually, most of the time that the button, that the call light is hit is by accident.
Oh, really?
Yes.
They were just trying to get the air or something?
They were trying to turn on their reading light and they hit the call button. That is so common. Or sometimes, depending on where you're seated, sometimes if you're like at a bulkhead, you'll have the buttons on the side, like inside, and they'll bump into it that way and it turns on. And you make your way up the aisle and they're like, hey, like, did you guys need anything? Like, what's up? And they're like, nope. And
they're like, what can I do for you?
Right, yeah. And they're like, oh, did I hit it? I'm like, sure did.
So not a really common, there's not a basic complaint you hear a lot.
No, it's most of the time they're dinging it completely by accident. Oh my word.
As a German, do you go to Austria?
We don't fly there out of
You guys
Detroit.
go to Poland anymore? You were for a little while there.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think if we do, we fly there out of, it would have to be New York or Atlanta. And I don't know if we do, actually. I don't know what all of our routes are because I have
the move for you Germans for a little while was to go to Poland.
And we I don't know if that's a World War II joke.
What? What? No, what happened?
The Germans moving into Poland.
Oh, did they really? They liked the apartments or something better?
Yeah, something like
the housing
that.
market was better there? Do you get paid more for speaking German?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
It's not much, but it does. I mean, by the end of the year, it does make a little bit of a difference. So
that's cool. Best, I got 2 of these left, and then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to get into how you did this, and then we are going to look at some clips here.
Sure.
Best passenger compliment you've ever gotten? You had a video a while ago about a swarmy one, like a swarmy one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was so weird.
Yeah.
I had the guy that was like, good girl.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
No. All I did was give him an extra cookie.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was gross. I hated that. I hated
That's
every part
crazy.
of that interaction.
So that'd be the worst passenger
Yeah,
compliment.
I hated that.
What's the best passenger compliment?
You know what? I am always very like humbled when people are like, you know what, you like are doing such a good job, and we can tell that you enjoy this just based on like your smile or like the radiance that we like see in you. Like, cause there are days where I'm just kind of going through the motions, and I'm like, I have to work, whatever. And it's usually on those days where I'm extremely humbled when somebody says something, and I'm like, you know what? Thank you.
Yeah.
Like that
Gives you a little boost.
Gives me a little boost.
Yeah.
Or if something has happened where we've been rerouted and we're no longer working what we're supposed to work, and our plans kind of fall apart, and I'm not happy about it. There have been times where I'm like, somebody will say something kind to me, and it like just is an attitude check for me where I'm like, okay, like it's not.
It almost has the effect as an insult, but in a much better way. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, absolutely.
You are so delightful today, and you're like,
I'm like, have I been?
Because now you get called upward to like be to be better without it being an insult.
Exactly. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Last question: one thing you'd change about the job if you could?
One thing I could change.
Being able to snag mini bottles.
No.
Do you guys snag little mini bottles
No.
for the for the airport unwind or for the hotel room? Is that a no-go?
That is a no-go because you're stealing from the company at that point,
Okay,
we'll
talk about it later.
No, I generally do not, because the thing is, it was so hard for me to get this job to begin with, or it's a very desirable job, so it is a very competitive like application
was it really?
industry. Yeah, and
nice.
So
was it a lottery? What was it?
I mean, kind of felt like it. I'm not gonna lie, but I generally, if it's something that's not allowed, I don't do it, because I don't ever want to do something that's going to risk my job, because I love my job. So why would I ever put that in jeopardy? But yeah.
Nothing you really change about the job?
The pay. I could always get paid more.
Yeah, it's true. No birth. There's never been like a birth on board or anything, has there?
Not on any of my flights. It has happened, but
to people you know?
Not to anyone I know.
Or it's happened.
It's just happened in general. Yeah, but and like obviously like we're CPR trained and all of that. We're not first aid certified. But we are CPR trained every 18 months.
You're a lifeguard of the sky. You're a lifeguard of the sky.
Well,
got the same credential.
I have this conversation with people sometimes about like, would you consider a flight attendant to be a first responder? And most of the time they're like, no, like, why would I? I'm like, okay, but if there's an emergency, who is the first person to respond on a plane,
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I wouldn't necessarily put myself on the same level as like a paramedic
as a firefighters of 9/11.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying you are? You're saying you're the same equivalent as those who
100%.
Interesting.
No, obviously I'm not that. But then when you think about I'm not
really pained you to say that. Really.
Yeah, really.
You're like, well, I'm not exactly on the level of New York and
But here's the thing. I can evacuate an airplane in 90 seconds. What
does that mean? You can run from the back to the front down the slide in 30 seconds?
No, I can get everybody off an aircraft in 90 seconds. Because
whoa, really?
I'm required to. We're required to be able to have an emergency exit opened, and usable within 15 seconds.
Wow. Yeah. Which one? Front, middle, back? Or is it just where everybody is?
Any of them.
Yeah. You take advantage of the location. Yeah. All right, let's take a break real fast. I appreciate it. This is Chiara. She's a flight attendant, and we're going to look at how she got into it and watch a couple of viral videos, get her take on it.
Yes.
All right, we'll be right back.
And we're back.
I'm super self-conscious about, for some reason, my eyes have just looked really bad over the last couple of years. So especially when I never wear glasses. In fact, I never even really wear sunglasses.
Yeah.
But I really don't like overhead lights because that's eyeshadow city. Okay, V8 commercial. It's gonna be my bit until I get a sponsorship.
Yeah.
That's your camera, and action.
Well, okay, so I actually got a message from V8 the other day, and they're like, "Hey,
Oh my gosh.
we heard that you're gonna be on this podcast that
Are you serious right now?
that we've been sponsoring." Yeah. And they're like, "Since you're super famous on the internet, and
Right.
Big Whoop's super famous on the internet,
Sure.
we were just hoping that maybe you'd give us a special shout out." So of course we're gonna give
Oh my
V8
gosh.
Energy a shout out.
Mr. V8 called you also.
Mr. V8 on the phone had Miss V8 and their
Look at you
children in the
doing your
background.
research. Oh my gosh. Look at you.
Yeah, they were, they're like, "Hey, can we do like a collective like FaceTime? Can we like, do you want to come over join us for Thanksgiving one year?" And
No,
I'm
they didn't.
like,
Are you serious?
"Yeah." And I was like, "You know what? I have my own family, but
Invite you over for
like
Thanksgiving?
they did. They said I could bring a +1, but I was
Is
like,
it gonna be me?
yeah, but that was
Is it
really
gonna be me?
You're in the
Is it-
running. You're in the running. You're at least in the running.
Is it gonna be
So
me?
yeah, but I felt like that was really forward of them. So but you know what? I appreciate the invite for sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do Christmas together instead. But yeah,
Here's a wild idea. What do you think of the product?
love it. Peach mango. I mean,
We got Christmas
steady
at the V8 household
energy
over here.
and
What a
supports focus.
wildest,
And as somebody who needs to be focused sometimes, not
That's your cup of
often,
this You
This
think
is
that-
my
that's- you think
well, this
that's
is the
your
tea
thing.
one, I think.
No, that's peach mango. Wait, what is that?
Wait, this one's also peach mango. Didn't one of these have like green tea?
Green tea energy.
From black and green tea. So this is my
Yeah,
cup of
they
tea
don't see
right
color.
here.
That's actually why I was drawn to it. They do black and green teas.
green.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what we
great.
need. That's
There's
what we
also
need.
white teas though.
Well, that's what I'm
and,
told
like,
we need.
Yeah.
Holy cow! What a yeah. Oh my gosh, that was a wild.
So maybe one day they'll sponsor us for real.
That was a great commercial.
Thank you.
That was a great commercial.
Do you like my bit?
Thank you. What a wonderful commercial that you did before.
As I continue to drink my Dunkin' Ice.
That's what I did. The one before this, I was like, I only drink V8. And I had coffee.
yeah.
What is? Let's get some story on you real quick. Let's look at these videos and let's wrap this thing up. You have thank you for doing this, by the way. I appreciate it. So we went to college together. We both graduated. What stirred you to be interested in this?
A couple friends of mine that I worked at a summer camp with.
Yeah.
And one of them was actively looking for a job. And he was like, "Hey, Chiara, like I found this job that I think you'd be great for. It's flight attendant. They're looking for somebody that speaks German and English." You're right. I absolutely should apply for this because I want to get paid to travel. And I'd always kind of joked like, I wish I could get paid to travel. Ha 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 ha. And then I was like, oh, but that job you do
Really
get paid to travel. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do some research into this. Yeah, so I sat down with a friend of mine and we kind of did some research into applying for different airlines and whatnot. And so the beginning of the spring semester, he applied and he actually got hired by an airline. And then I finished out, or I hadn't applied yet anywhere because I was like, you know what? I'm going to finish the senior year because I've invested a lot of time and money into an undergrad degree. So I should probably
pretty
just
wild
finish
to just
that out.
to pivot right away too.
So I did that, and then the following fall, the application window for my airline opened back up for specifically German and English speakers, and so I threw my hat out. I threw my name out there. What's the hat saying? Threw my
What's
name
the
in
German
hat.
saying for that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So you threw your hat in the ring.
That's what I was
you got
thinking
picked
of,
up.
yeah.
Were you moved to a higher tier because it was specifically English and German?
I think that really benefited me because at that point, my airline said that they were only planning to hire about at most 2,500 flight attendants.
Oh, total
for that year.
Wow.
So I had applied, and so the first part, it was just a general application that you fill out, and then you did a video interview.
Sure.
Or maybe it was a personality assessment. I don't know. They were like two separate like things that you did, and the video interview, it wasn't like a live video interview. They sent you questions and you recorded yourself answering those questions, and you sent in your
you get all dialed up. You look your best.
Look your best. And my interview portion, that like part was both in English and German because I think they're trying to assess your language a little bit too.
Yeah. Are you conversational or are you fluent?
Exactly. And so I did that, and then I didn't hear from them for like a month.
Mm.
And I was like, is this normal? I don't know. And then I got an email, and they were like, thank you so much for applying. We had over 800,000 applications.
Whoa.
We actually are not going to move forward with your application.
Oh, are you serious?
And I was like, okay. And honestly, I was okay with that.
Yeah.
I was like, it is what it is. And
it was kind of a new passion idea at the time.
And I didn't really know what I was getting myself into to begin with. And so I like moved on. I of course I was a little bummed because I'd been excited about it, and in my mind I was like, yeah, this is going to be the easiest job ever, or the easiest job application process ever,
Yeah.
Like how could they not hire me?
Do they know who I am?
Exactly.
That's the attitude I've had in every job since
since
graduating.
It's worked for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just moved on. I applied for a couple different jobs. I was in the interview process for a completely different job at a chiropractic office, actually. And I'm literally driving home from this interview, and I get an email from my company, and they're like, hey, so we know you'd previously applied, and we had said we weren't going to move forward. We actually do want to move forward with your application. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Wow, that's such a God thing. That's so cool.
It was
so cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so I was like,
you didn't even reapply. You just had the initial attempt, the denial, and then they brought it up.
Even the thought of reapplying had never crossed my mind.
Wow.
Because I was like, yeah, you apply for a job, you don't get it, you move on.
Right.
You know?
Right. Okay, what I'm going to do here is pull up a couple of videos, and then we're rounding third on this thing. Let's do this. This is flight attendant has a different approach to the safety tutorial. Let's see if this is something you would do. Rock and roll, Jimmy.
Insert the flat metal fitting into the buckle of the strap to tighten it to release simply with the upper portion of the buckle. Turbulence may occur with no warnings. We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times, even when the seatbelt sign is off.
Even when the seat
In the
sign
event
is
of
off, in the
emergency,
event of emergency,
and to brace.
command to brace
Refer to your
refer to
safety
your
features
safety
card for
features
your
card
brace
for your brace position.
Do not take any carry-on
What is
items
this
or
guy?
items
What is this talking? Is this like an AI?
I think they're narrating it, yeah.
But none of those words made sense to me.
No.
Basically, what you have here is a middle-aged man, and he's dialing it up. This guy was in theater when he was in high school, and he is taking his job very seriously. And by very seriously, I mean he's putting a lot of effort into it. He's doing. Would you ever do something like that? He's doing the. I'm sorry, because I know some people listen on audio. He's doing the safety buckle and everything, and he's flamboyant. I don't know. He's just like very expressive. He's theatrical.
Yeah. I would
Have you tried that?
I have not ever tried that. I don't know if it's just because I care way too much what people think about me. And I think it's fun. They're getting the point. People are actually watching him.
That's true. I was watching him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Most of the time when our safety demo is they're playing or we're doing it, nobody's paying attention. And then in an emergency situation, they're like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, well,
Let's see what's next. World's funniest flight attendant leaves passengers in hysterics.
Parachutes are not included. Here at Frontier Airlines, we like to keep up with all the latest fashion trends. In the event that this flight becomes a cruise, all of you lucky people get your own itsy-bitsy, teeny-weeny yellow polka dot bikinis beneath your seat. Minus the itsy-bitsy, teeny-weeny, and you get no polka dots. Once you're outside the aircraft, pull down sharply on the red tab that's on the front, or for those of you who love to make life difficult, you can blow into that red tube near your shoulder to bloat. I mean inflate.
Stranger Things humor. Stranger Things humor right there.
I have no idea. So if you figure it out, please do let me know. And if by chance yours does not inflate,
would you ever do something like this? And I'll say this, by the sound of the laughs, this very much seems like a Midwestern flight.
Yeah.
This seems like a flight from, Columbus to Indiana.
Yeah.
Just a lot of, it's a lot of moms, and they're going, ah. Would you ever do something like this? This is a lady flight attendant doing the, again to describe it, doing the life jacket, and she's blowing into it, and the guy all the way in the front of the back is over the speaker, being funny. What do you think about this?
I will say it's funny because he does get the point across, and people people
effective.
Are actually paying attention, and even though they're laughing because they think he's like joking, like if your life vest doesn't inflate, like hold on to your neighbor. No,
Right.
like actually, if it doesn't inflate, hold on to somebody whose is inflated. You know,
Right,
or
right.
you know, don't try not to.
Do you think
put
this
them
is
in-
too theatrical? Is this like?
I think certain airlines can get.
Because I
away
hear that
with
and I'm
it.
like,
Yeah, I think
fly
certain
the
airlines
plane.
can get away with it, and other airlines cannot.
I'll ask you a couple final questions. Thank you so much for being here. Do gift cards work?
Yes.
Wow, really?
So-
What if what
yes.
if it's somebody in the way back? Like
Yes.
they're not first class.
We are
They have
so
nothing that they're
easily
in.
bribed.
Really?
Somebody could bring me like
Wow.
a piece of gum, and I'm like, you know what? Anything you want, it's yours.
Wow.
You want to take the plane home? Feel free.
You want to take the plane home?
No, it's so funny. Whenever people bring us something, we appreciate it so much. Like, and we don't
Yeah.
expect people to bring us anything, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna still treat you like a human being and whatnot, regardless if you bring me something.
Is there anything else that you want to share? Why don't you bring up because you also create content and it's funny and I think that's great. And I always give a lot of respect to people who are doing things, who are trying.
Oh, thank you.
So, and your stuff is funny.
Thanks, that's
So
very kind.
Instagram, TikTok, anything you want to plug
Yeah.
before we skedaddle?
Yeah, feel free to follow my Instagram or my TikTok. The @ is Chiara Kotschi. That's ChiaraKotschi.
Thank you so much for being here, Chiara. You are those skyward nurses and policemen and CPRists and everything.
Yes.
You got your feet up in the
Got my
clouds a
feet up
lot
in the
more
clouds a
than
lot.
on the earth, and you make everybody's lives better when they're in the tube. And how did
Thank
that all
you.
sound
That
great?
that sounded so good.
Yeah.
So professional.
And they don't get paid for the first hour.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
that'll make me that'll change my behavior a little bit.
We don't get paid our flight pay. We don't get paid the big bucks. It's
It's just common
just
courtesy
sad.
help. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
doing this. I
thank you.
appreciate
Well, thanks
it.
for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to you later.
Yep.